From our city leaders, chief of police, mayor, so forth, with more concrete information. This location will be a tactical brief, giving you updates of where we need people to go, what we need people to do, and the status of the scene itself. At this time, I'll take any questions. Sir, they'll make that understand that 3 people have been stopped. At this time, we have rolled out multiple shooters. It's still active, but as of right now, we have 1 person in custody. I don't have the status of the suspect right now. And they really have I don't have that confirmation. I know we do have injured. I don't know their status or if there's any confirmed killed. As soon as we have that information, we'll provide it, but we don't want to do anything prematurely until we have accurate facts for you. Is there an active search? Right now, we're clearing all the location. This is a very large area, including the mall, all the retail areas. We are going through, making sure that anybody that locked in that's sheltered in place, that we get to them. We're also treating any persons that were injured in any form. So this is a large crime scene, a large area, so we are systematically going through it and making sure that anybody in the area, number one, we're ruling out that no one is a suspect, and we're also making sure that those people that were separated or hurt are getting the care that they need. I don't have the locations of the casualties. I just know that there are casualties. I don't know the actual locations of them. Yes, there were reports of gunfire in several locations, mainly Walmart and the Cielo Vista Mall.
Sir, we have been getting reports that Bassett was also evacuated.
We did have initial reports of Bassett Center. I can confirm that those reports were not true. We have confirmed that there is nothing going on related to this incident at Bassett Center.
Are the casualties still inside the Walmart?
I don't know the status of them. I know medical personnel is attending to them. I don't know if they're at the location or they've been transported. I know there's mixed information on that. As soon as I have an accurate count, I will give it to you.
What about reports of 1 person arrested on their way to Horizon?
I don't have any reports of a person arrested in Horizon. I do know that we have 1 person detained and 1 person in custody right now. I don't have the location of that where that person was detained, but as soon as I get that and we have more concrete information, we'll provide it. Ahorita voy a hablar en español. Déjame hacerlo en inglés primero y lo hago otra vez en español. Initial reports of the weapon was a rifle. I can't confirm that yet, but initial reports was a rifle.
Is it true that it was gang-related terrorism?
We have no information, and we have not put out a concrete response on what the motive for this shooting is. We are working at, like I said, we are transitioning into the crime scene phase, and we will be developing more information as that becomes available to us, and as we learn it, we can confirm it. The El Paso Police Department has jurisdiction of the city, but we are working with our federal partners. FBI is on scene, DEA, all the federal agencies are here assisting because this is a large area. We do have assistance from the Sheriff's Department, the school district, pretty much every law enforcement personnel in El Paso is here assisting. El Paso PD will take the lead on it, but we are working closely with our federal partners, our state partners, and all the other law enforcement in this area. You can go ahead.
And that suspect in custody, do you know anything about that person?
No, we're still developing that. As soon as I have concrete information or an identity of that suspect, I will release it.
Do we have a race, age, or sex?
No, I don't have anything. The only thing I have is a male. As of right now, we have 1 person in custody. I don't know the particulars or if there are more than 1. There were initial reports of 1, but we have 1 person in custody. So that's the only thing. I don't know the ages or the casual count. No, we have 1 person in custody as of right now.
Did the officers fire the weapons today?
As far as I know, no. Sí, ahorita voy a hacer algo. I don't have the condition of any casualties at all, whether they're fatalities or injured. I don't have that as of yet. As soon as that comes available, we will put it out. I can only say we have 1 person in custody right now. I can't definitively say there's only 1 shooter. There were shots fired. There were shots fired in this area. I can't tell you the location. Sir, I don't know. I'm sorry. I just need to clarify. Go ahead. Okay, just to be clear, this thing is fluid and dynamic as of right now. We don't think there's multiple, but that could change. Initial reports were that it was multiple. At this second in time, we have one person in custody. We won't rule out multiple until we have a concrete investigation based on all the facts and investigation of the scene. So it can change. As of this moment, we only have one person in custody. We are investigating the crime scene. Should it change, we will give you an update, but as of right now, that's the information that I have. Okay, we'll do it in Spanish now. Okay, soy Oficial Gomez.
So you were listening to Sergeant Robert Gomez from the El Paso Police Department giving us an update. Just a recap of the headlines that we're learning from him. He says that the first calls, the initial 911 calls, came around 10 a.m. local time, Eastern time. That would be about 12 o'clock. He says that the gunfire was reported in several locations, the main location being the Walmart, and other reports at the Cielo Vista Mall, which is right there nearby. They asked what kind of gun. I believe he might have said
maybe a rifle.
Maybe a rifle.
Yeah.
He says there are multiple victims, but he wouldn't go into the casualties. What we are getting from our own Andrew Blankstein is that there's at least one person dead, 18 people transported to local hospitals after this shooting. The caution, they're just saying that right now the shooter is in custody. They do not believe that there is more than one shooter. And of course, Sergeant Gomez there from the El Paso Police Department did in fact confirm that.
Yeah, and he said they're shifting to the crime scene phase, going through those stores because it was locked down. The large area, not only was Cielo Vista locked down, Cielo Vista Mall, but also the Fountains. It's called Fountains Center. It's also a shopping plaza. That's not even on the screen. On the top right, we're looking at a map there. It's not even on the screen. So what I'm saying is that was locked down as well. So it was a large area that was locked down initially. Cielo Vista Mall obviously locked down as well. So there are people that we'd expect to be in there still wondering what's going on. You know, they're worried. Think about how they're feeling at this moment, and they're cut off from the rest of the world aside from their smartphones and yeah, exactly. But they're still wondering what's happening, just like all of us. But eventually they'll go in and get them out.
Let me bring in the former New York City Police Commissioner Bill Bratton, who's joining us on the phone. Actually, I see over my shoulder another witness speaking. I'm going to ask the controller to listen into that to see if that is worth tapping into. But Bill Bratton, are you with me right now?
I am. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Bratton, thank you so much for being here with us on this occasion again. We were talking just there about policing this situation and what law enforcement is going through right now in the early hours of this sort of shooting. It took place about 3.5 hours ago, but this is a massive, massive scene, as you can see there from the map.
Well, that's what actually complicates it. The good news is they apparently have what they believe is a suspect in custody. With that, they'll be able to work very quickly on identification, rollbacks in terms of where this individual might live, trying to get access to social media, posting that he or she, they did not indicate if the suspect was male or female. I think we can rely on the fact that it's probably going to be a male. As to whether or not there are other suspects, that's unknown at the moment. They are certainly searching. In a scene such as this, there's so much confusion, the fog of confusion, the multiple locations, and the large area of these multiple locations, that there's a lot of confusion as to where shots are coming from, how many shots, how many shooters. We just saw that early this week at the Garlic Festival shooting, where they believe there were 2 suspects, but I believe that has now been confirmed there was only 1. So same thing going on here. The rollbacks are going to be very important to identify possible motive. Excuse me, they're going to want to determine very quickly, is this possibly an act of terrorism? Is it a right-wing type of situation? Is it something having to do with the immigration issue? El Paso has a large Latino population right next to the border. There's military bases nearby. So the motive is something they're going to want to very quickly determine to help in the investigation. Additionally, excuse me, I'm sorry. The weapon is identified as potentially a rifle.
Yeah.
Early reports were something along the line of an assault weapon. More details will start coming out, but right now, even several hours after this event, you're getting preliminary information. First story is never the last story. Even the number of potential victims, I've heard sourcing reports as many as 18 dead, but Andrew's report earlier was that 18 people transported to hospitals.
Well, Commissioner Brandon, let me cut you off and have you hang on for a little bit and get your reaction to this, because joining us on the phone right now is a Texas State Representative, Cielo Blanco, who represents this particular area. He's on the phone with us, and I do believe, Mr. Blanco, that you just spoke with some of the authorities and you have an update for us. What are you hearing?
Well, we've received a notification that at least 18 people have been shot. It is an active shooting situation. One suspect has been in custody. There's been reports of multiple shootings from different locations, but it's still under investigation. I'm hearing from individuals who are working in the county hospitals that they are receiving a large number of victims.
Hey, folks, let's show this.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead, Mr. Blanco.
Yeah. Look, and you know, this is my district where this shooting is happening. I am speaking from my district office. It's literally down the street from the shooting location, and it's just extremely unfortunate that this is happening in our country. The Family Reunification Center is in the middle school that I attended, and look, I served in the military as a veteran and have training with assault rifles. It is very easy, as we have seen recently in California and throughout the country, that assault weapons can create a great deal of carnage in a very small amount of time. And unfortunately, it's happening here in my community.
And Mr. Blanco, I should point out, my colleague Filomena used to be a constituent there of this district some time ago. He's here with me.
I lived in El Paso. Good to talk to you, State Representative Blanco. Unfortunate circumstances, to say the very least. This hasn't happened in my recollection in El Paso ever. Can you remember anything like this in our community?
Well, look, not long ago at our VA healthcare facility, there was a shooting. There was a shooter, and people were shot. It's not the first time that this has happened in El Paso, unfortunately, although El Paso is, according to the FBI, one of the safest cities in the country. This is of huge magnitude, and it's going to have a lasting impact on our community. It is a majority Latino community. It's a very warm, welcoming community, rather. It's going to be devastating. We're going to need a lot of counseling, mental health practitioners that are providing support, and we'll be available to be helpful with all those things.
And Mr. Blanco, the lieutenant governor of your state there, Dan Patrick, is saying that it was a 21-year-old male. I should point out to our viewers, there is a photo that I've seen that would appear to be somebody with a rifle walking into what would appear to be a store. We're looking to clear that and get it to you as soon as possible to see what we can make of it. But it was a very troubling photo. The person appeared to be dressed for some sort of tactic, not for shopping at Walmart or something else.
Mr. Blanco, who are you in contact with?
I have been in touch with Governor Abbott, who is en route to El Paso. I've been in touch with Speaker Dennis Bonnen, the Speaker of the House, and I've also been in touch with the state police chief. And yes, there is a suspect in custody. It is a male individual, from my understanding and from the reports that have been just recently released. But it is my understanding that there are mass casualties that are being reported in our level 1 trauma center here in El Paso.
Mr. Blanco, but give it to me. Give me your sense as you listen to this. And I know this just took place roughly about 4 hours ago, so perhaps a lot of this has not sunk in. But this is your community. It's a relatively small community. It is spread out. people know their neighbors, and then on. When you hear something like this, when you get the reports that you're learning of multiple injuries at least, possibly some casualties, what goes through your mind?
Well, look, this is my district. The majority of my family lives in this district. I shop at that Walmart. I was just at the mall the other day. The idea that this could happen anywhere in America is outrageous, and we should do more. You know, I don't even know if any of the casualties are my family. As soon as I heard the reports, I rushed to my district office to see if I can be of service in any way to families of the victims, and to be in touch with the state police and the governor. I haven't figured out if any of my family members have been shot, and I'm asking my family to, as I'm taking calls all day long, to see if any of our family members were there. So clearly it's devastating. This is America, and these things should not be happening. And we're the only industrialized nation in the world where these things are occurring at such an alarming level. As someone who served in the military, this should not be happening in our country, and we must do more. So this is going to have a lasting impact in our community. My thoughts and my prayers are with the families and the victims, but we need to take stronger action in making sure that these type of weapons aren't easily available to people with any kind of illnesses or any kind of backgrounds that shouldn't go into the hands of these type of individuals.
All right, State Representative Blanco there joining us on the phone. Thank you so much for your time on what is no doubt a sad and busy afternoon there, and a really horrible day for your community of El Paso. Commissioner Bratton is still joining us on the phone, and Commissioner Bratton might keep going through my head a number of things. The demographic, the makeup of the people who would have been at that mall during the middle of the day, 10 a.m. local time, possibly some young kids shopping with their parents for back-to-school gear at the time. Just a horrible setup there.
Well, it's a typical American mall complex. You have Walmart on one end, you have a number of department stores on the other. Just looking at the videos that you've been showing, it appears to be a very heavily Latino population, as you might expect down in the border community. El Paso is actually ranked as one of the safest cities in America, and it has been for many, many years. So this type of violence of this scale would be very unusual there. Actually, this type of violence, this scale, would be unusual in close parts of America. But as we know, we're dealing with a mass shooting almost every day now, being 4 or more victims of a shooting, and we're seeing a significant increase in these types of incidents. This type of incident is very difficult to deal with in the initial stages, as you're not sure, one shooter, more shooters, even where injured or fatal people might be located. The idea of lockdowns, people hiding, it takes quite a while